Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss, making decisions my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Good morning. Salute to everybody coming into the chat. It's your boy ARP, and we back here with the Sorry True Podcast. All right. Young Dolph, trial day 3, I should say. We already met the shooters. We already met Cornelius and Justin. We already heard about or seen footage of Cornelius basically telling and admitting to the court and to the prosecution that, yes, he was shooter 1 and his boy Justin was shooter 2. This doesn't seem like it's going to last too long. I don't see how it does. I believe on day 3, which is some of the footage and the evidence that we're going to get into in this particular live right here. I believe that the prosecution rested. Like when the prosecution rests, when we hear that term, typically the prosecution is done presenting all their evidence, calling all their witnesses. They're done. And then it's the turn for the defense to, I believe, go at their run and present all their evidence and their full defense, etc. It just seems from the terminology in the court and also just from the case in general, it seems that like this is a wrap. Like who really expected this case to last, 2 years like Young Thug's trial? Like Young Thug's trial, they had a couple hundred witnesses that was listed initially or something like that. That trial, that case, it seems like a mess. A lot of people are expecting that to go to maybe a mistrial and then, possibly continue to drag out into 2025. We will see. Diddy, everybody buckle up in your seats because that's going to go for a long time as well. There's probably going to be a lot of different types of testimonies and witnesses called and evidence. And Diddy's going to be sitting there with his high-powered dream team. That could go for forever. But this Young Dolph trial, I wouldn't be surprised if it's less than a week. Like none of us, I think, would be surprised. We're already seeing the shooters or one of the shooters saying, yes, that's me. And yes, that's him. The evidence is matching up. This phone stuff and a lot of the evidence that's shown in day 3 that we're going to start bringing up clips on a screen about. It's like those reminders. I'm glad that today's technology world is like this. I'm glad that there's cameras there's no cameras at my house. That's why I want my privacy, of course. And there's certain places where you want to make sure that, you're not being watched by everything. But this is the world that we live in. There's just cameras everywhere. People that's not looking to break the law, innocent people that's just going about their regular lives. I get it. I can look at that perspective and say, we live in the Matrix and we're all just gliding through life in this robotic routine. And you don't know all the powers that be that are just, leeching off of our lives, changing laws, watching us, pushing us in certain patterns, watering down our actual rights without us knowing, or some of us do know. You could look at it from that perspective. And you can also look at it from the perspective of the people that just wake up every day and don't give a shit. They're just like, look, I'm not involved in none of that shit. I don't care. There happens to be a camera on this corner right here and a camera on that car right there. And the tow truck's got license plate readers and all this type of stuff. I don't care because none of it involves me. None of it is ever going to affect my life. I'm not going to get into nothing. So it depends where you stand. Right. But the cell phone stuff that's going to get broken down in some of these videos and we're seeing in the trial day 3, it's a big reminder that like people, everything that we do is traceable. Everywhere we go is traceable. And these criminals be knowing a lot of this stuff. They didn't wake up yesterday. This isn't the first time they're watching the news. This isn't the first time they're seeing people get convicted or get caught or get grabbed while they're on the run states away or something like that. People have seen this forever. Why do they still do it? One of the main reasons be desperation. Like, look what these 2 particular people are talking about, right? Like one was talking about trying to make it and become the next CMG big artist. Another one, we heard the reports of one guy walked away with like $800 or something like that. And he was looking to, get some extra money for his daughter's birthday, which was the same day that he went on this mission, his daughter's birthday. It'd be desperation. It's just like, I know that this is a brazen situation. I'm going to put my gloves on. I'm going to put my COVID mask on. I'm going to put a hoodie on. I'm going to try to steal the car that we're going to use to pull up and actually, do the shooting and all that type of stuff. And then after that, I'm going to go lay low. Like, I'm going to pull like a Woody and go to Miami or something and lay low in a hotel for a while. the phone calls, the text messages, the FaceTimes, the cameras, the movement, the tolls, everything, satellites. It just be all there. And I think that y'all, not everybody here, but I think people just take it for granted because a little bit of time passes. Young Dolph gets killed, and then let's say a month or two or a year or two, whatever goes by. I use the same example once again of the old Block 6. Time goes by, but the evidence and the investigation and things just continue to happen behind the scenes. And when they are ready, when they feel like they got everything, boom, there they go. There they go. You know what I'm saying? Diddy's house raided in like March or whatever. The arrest come in September. Like that's just how it goes. And I do like our rights and our certain liberties. I like the comfort of feeling like, I'm not on somebody's strings, the government's strings, as I'm walking through the streets and walking through my own life. But me as a civilian that ain't breaking no laws and looking to get into none of this type of shit, I'm kind of glad that it's out there at least as a deterrent. I'm glad that people get to see this and hopefully say, like, even if I'm desperate, even if I need this 10,000 or this 800 or this 40 grand or this $100,000 bounty allegedly put out by Big Jook, even if I need this, at least have that second question, like, is it going to be worth my ass sitting in jail for the rest of my life? Facing life? Is it going to be worth me getting away from my daughter, my friends, and my family, being able to eat, sleep, and shit whenever I choose to? I just hope that stuff like this reminds people in the street that, man, whatever you going through, it can be worse. It can be worse. Now, I hope that people don't just then continue to roll the dice, and I'm sure this happens, and say, hey, this $40,000 is so big to me, it's worth me going after that, versus if I get caught and I have to then go spend the rest of my life for 20 years in jail, it's worth the risk. Then you just can't help it, right? It just is what it is. But constant reminders of what type of shit and and hoops you got to jump through to get away with this type of stuff in today's world. You can call that a good thing or a bad thing, depending on where you stand.
First at 5 on your news leader, the prosecution has rested after 3 full days of testimony and 10 witnesses. The prosecution believes it has presented enough evidence to convict Justin Johnson for the murder of rapper Young Dolph. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. But Johnson is just one piece of this puzzle. Investigators say the true mastermind was Anthony Mims, a.k.a. Big Jook, a high up at CMG Records and rival of Young Dolph. Jook.
Now, the moment that you say the high up of CMG Records and a rival of Young Dolph, I said this in the stream the other day. I'm not wishing nothing on nobody. I just don't see how Yo Gotti fully continues to escape this. Now, we have yet to hear his name come up, and it looks like, once again, the prosecution just rested. It's possible that he doesn't. It's possible that they're all sitting there, and they've been sitting there for weeks or a month plus trying to figure out if they can tie in Yo Gotti. I said Young Gotti. It's possible. It's possible his name was sitting right there next to Big Jooks, and they just didn't have the evidence. So they went after what, they had hard evidence on. We got these text messages after the shooting. We got these FaceTimes to Big Jook or whatever. Yo, God, we know this is your brother. We know you are the owner and the CEO of CMG Music. We know that you've been beefing with Young Dolph and got interviews and songs back and forth. We know this. A lot of us never even heard of Big Jook's name until he passed. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure down in Memphis and whatnot, people that's really, really in tune with CMG as a record label and all that, y'all knew who Big Jook was. I didn't. I know Yo Gotti. You know what I'm saying? And I definitely know the Yo Gotti and the Young Dolph beef. So if I know it, and you know what I'm saying, like these detectives and these people working this case for these months, they know all this shit too. But it's possible they just didn't have anything there for Yo Gotti. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't mean that you're not under surveillance. It doesn't mean that you're not in the hot seat. Like, even if Yo Gotti gets off of this scot clean, right? Never gets called in, never gets served for nothing, never gets subpoenaed, never gets questioned, nothing, no charges, no nothing. Even if he walks away scot clean, these are one of those, like 9 lives that you just used. You gotta take this type of moment and be like, yo, they came right there next to me. And they looked at me and they walked away. Like, remember the scene in The Wire where they went and they went to the club, you know what I'm saying, Avon's club, and they grabbed Avon, and Stringer turned around and he put his hands behind his back, like, all right, go ahead, put the cuffs on. And McNulty was just like, catch you later. And Stringer and Avon looked at each other like, you ain't taking me too? And they left Stringer and they walked away. They didn't have enough on Stringer. And then on top of that, they leave him out there to keep making mistakes, AKA catch you later, right? They take Avon though. So it's, to me, similar. You can't convince anybody with a brain that Yo Gotti and Big Jook just have a 1000% divide and don't know nothing about the other person's actions. This is why you don't play divide and conquer. You don't say like, oh, this owner right here, he ain't on nothing. You know what I'm saying? But this one right here is. No, that's naive to think. If one is on something, the other one is on something too, whether one is talking about it or not. If anybody's talking opposite from each other, you're possibly just getting lined up. Like, don't play stupid, people.
Is also the older brother of Yo Gotti. WREG's Shay Arthur has been covering this trial every step of the way. She's live tonight with the very latest. Shay?
Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Greg. Yeah, another dramatic day here in court. Just minutes ago, Johnson's attorney actually asked a judge that he be acquitted. The judge denied that request and said this case really is up to a jury. Johnson also, he took the stand briefly here and said he has chosen not to testify on his own behalf. He confirmed he went over the pros and the cons with his attorney, and he ultimately decided not to. But really, Stephanie, Greg, much of today, it focused on cell phone records of.
But what was he going to get up there and say? Like they mentioned stuff like that in the Tory Lanez trial, if y'all remember. It was like maybe it would have been a different outcome if Tory Lanez got up there on the stand and he actually testified on his own behalf. Now, that can go multiple ways. I believe the narratives that Tory Lanez possibly didn't take the stand because he was very, very confident, possibly overconfident that he was going to get off. Right. So if I'm confident that I'm going to get off, then me taking the trial, if I got to sit up here and answer questions about possibly what I did, what I didn't do, or whatever, here comes the snitch labels. Or I'm up here talking about Meg. I'm told on a woman and all that. And what's that going to look like if I get off and then here I go right back to the music industry and start recording music and people start calling me a snitch and I told on Meg. And I said that, oh, no, she tussled for the gun and this and that. And boo, you know what I'm saying? So it's very possible that's one of the main reasons why Tory didn't get on that stand. And none of us have a time machine. Nobody knows how that would have turned out if he did or he didn't get up on that stand. Who knows? But in this case right here, if you followed or if you looked at day 1 and day 2 of the trial and then hear all the evidence on day 3, and we're going to get into some of that more. I'm going to pull up a separate video. And you're Justin, right? And this isn't some big lavish court setup or nothing like that, right? This don't look like the Young Thug trial. It's not of some big, it just looks like a small little, congregation of the prosecution and the defense. He's sitting there in a row by himself. I don't even see any family or friends in court, if they're even allowed. You know what I'm saying? We don't see nothing going on there. We just see Justin just sitting there rocking back and forth, looking like he's about to throw up, right? And you're sitting there and you're listening to your best friend or your code D tell on you. You're watching the videos that they play. You're seeing the evidence with the Mercedes and the trap, all that type of stuff. What was you going to get up on the stand and say anyway? What was you going to say anyway? Right? There's that side of it too. Like, yeah, it can be tactical to say like, you know what? I can make the situation worse by getting up here and allow myself to testify. But there's also these situations where it's just like, nigga, what the fuck am I gonna tell you? All I could do up here is just make it worse. So I might as well just shut up. I already pretty much know what it is. And that's why I always look like I'm about to throw up while I'm sitting here and I'm rocking my feet back and forth. He don't look confident from day one. He been looked sick sitting in that courtroom. I mean, what was he expecting? To get up there and get some big testimony from Justin? Come on.
Forensic expert testifying cell phone towers around Crosstown Concourse, where Johnson lived, the gas station where he picked up the stolen white Mercedes used in the murder, Makita's Cookies, where young Dolph was killed, and the apartment where he went after the shooting, all showed his phone made contact with the cell phone towers around there. Now, another big note today, another expert witness analyzed Johnson's calls and text messages. It showed him receiving a picture of that white Mercedes car the day before the murder. It also showed that, get this, his mother tried calling him at 12:23, the time of young Dolph's murder. Now, listen to the investigator. He describes the calls during the homicide. Then notice who a call is made to just minutes after.
And that time frame was significant for me and the investigators because that was at the same time frame that the homicide was being committed. 12/25/40, Justin Johnson places an outgoing call to Anthony Mims, and it's got a 2-second duration, which appears probably to go unanswered.
Here's my question to y'all. I'll leave this out there for the chat and or the comments later on for this video. What do y'all feel? Now, these guys, they thought that they were doing something that was going to help them get away with it, right? Gloves, hoodies, masks. I believe the car was stolen, etc., etc. They thought that they were doing things to get away, right? It's not like they walked up there barefaced, no gloves or whatever, and said, fuck it, it is what it is, right? They took steps to try to get off from this. Now, when we look at the footage that they continue to play in court of the actual shooting, they keep showing them run up on the glass and just spray at Dolph or whatever. Very horrifying footage, by the way. It scares the shit out of me. But when they keep playing that, you can't necessarily, just from us, not necessarily when they start putting together all the evidence and say, oh, that's the same color boxes. They actually brought that into trial. Like, it's crazy. But anyway, same color boxes, same outfit, same bass hat on this camera over here by the apartments. Same car that was picked up over here. For us, when we don't see that stuff, when all we see is that last video that was just up there, or the one that you see right here on the screen right now, the cell phone pattern, right? This was the time that the shooting happened, and immediately right after that, you see this call to this call right here. Do y'all feel like that becomes primary evidence, the type of evidence that can convict you damn near alone? Or do you feel like that's just supplementing? Because as I go through what we've seen so far in the evidence, it doesn't look like this is the haymaker right here, and this is just all the little small pieces that we're adding just to make sure that y'all don't appeal, y'all don't go back and deliberate and mess this up and say not guilty and have a suspicion of doubt or nothing like that. It looks like a bunch of like medium pieces put together, right? But you never got their faces on the footage. You know what I'm saying? Now, okay, the clothes and the movement and the phones and all that, it's not like big, clear-cut haymaker to me. Like, oh no, the cops kicked in the door, he was sleeping in bed, and he was still holding the bloody knife. That's like haymaker. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just like open and shut. This cell phone stuff, though, it's like they're playing on also common sense to the jury and to the judge. Common sense shit can get you convicted. Common sense, and that also leaves room for mistakes. Not everybody sitting behind the wall is guilty. Let's be real. But playing on just pure common sense, if you got selected for the jury for this, and you're sitting on that panel, and you're watching the evidence get presented in court, and they just simply say, like, all right, everybody, we established on day one that young Dolph was killed at 2:03 p.m. Jury, I need you to remember that. 2:03 p.m., 2:03 p.m., 2:03 p.m. They have a whole tactic. They have a plan. They drill home certain things in the jury's minds. 2:03 p.m., 2:03 p.m. Jury's okay, 2:03, taking notes, 2:03 p.m. Day 3 comes. Evidence investigators and experts come. Now, here goes the cell phone triangulation and everything, and the cell phone towers and everything, people. At 2:05 p.m., for a 20-second call or a text message that said, job done, right? Here goes Justin to Big Jook. Does it say that we shot him? Does it say that we killed him? Or even if it's just the phone call and there's no, voice that's playing, it's just showing that a call was made between these two people 2 minutes later that lasted 30 seconds, right? They play on comment. Not all evidence that's going to come at your ass got your face on it or a haymaker or some shit that's just 100% that's part of it, right? No. Like, it's not just the movie shit like, oh, damn, there goes my fingerprints. No, it's common sense of just putting pieces of the puzzle together. And the reason why I'm making this a topic and I'm slightly passionate about it is because I feel like that's just how my brain operates in regular life. If you guys have followed my blogs over the years, right, I don't allow my followers or my supporters to ignore the smoke. What I do is I take the smoke from all these different buildings and situations and I put it together. I put the puzzle together and I say, now I want you to play stupid. Now I want you to play naive. Now I want you to act like this ain't what it is. It's no different than what these lawyers will do. I don't need you caught laying or sleeping in the bed holding the Draco. I don't need that. I got this picture over here. You're wearing the same sweatpants right there. Say, how many of those top bass hats were sold? Yeah, the defense could come up and really try that shit. So what? Same hat as what happened in the murder. Somebody could really go into court and defend that. Cool. But common sense. Same hat, same day. Two people from the music video that know each other, right? Here they are right here in front of us. We happened to pick him up in Indianapolis. Why was he there? Was he on the run? Oh, this car happened to be found at an address that they both hang out at. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we never found the guns. I think they really said that the guns were never recovered, right? Never found the guns. Oh, yeah, by the way, phone call made between these two people. Oh, and that person that received the phone call, he happens to be beefing with Young Dolph. It's like common sense shit, right? It's common sense shit. It's not a phone. Hey, we got the phone call recording where Justin says, hey, Big Jook, guess what? I just killed Young Dolph. No, they don't have that. It's a bunch of the common sense pieces of the puzzle that they put together and say, okay, jury and judge, now that we put all these pieces in front of you, just go ahead and play stupid if you want. Y'all with me this morning or what? Shout out to the chat.
At 12:25 time there, again, so that testimony, very telling. He says Justin Johnson's phone records called Big Jook, investigators say, contracted that hit on Dolph's life. Then they say that what appears to be a FaceTime call came in just a short time after. This matches up with what Johnson's accomplice, Cornelius Smith, also accused in the murder, testified earlier this week. He told the jury that moments after the shooting, Johnson FaceTime Big Jook. Again, as you just mentioned here, the prosecution has rested their case. It's now up to the defense to bring witnesses if they choose to the stand. We'll be following it every step of the way. For now, court is adjourned for the day, resumes tomorrow. For your news leader, we're live downtown tonight. Shay Arthur, WREG.
Thank you. Okay, let me get into a little bit of this trial footage for a second with y'all. Hold on. Let's bring up some trial footage. From day 3. So there goes. This is what I meant earlier when I say like his mannerisms. And I guess sometimes there's people where you just can't help that. You know, once again, your legal team sometimes will help you through that. Sometimes your legal team will remind you of how to look, how to posture. Young Thug is becoming an expert of that, right? And that's what he paid these people for. You know, Young Thug, we all seen the one like a couple weeks ago where he just real quick and then fixed his hair, right? And then we saw the one the other day. What did he do? He did some shit and then he fixed his jacket real quick. And then they said that it was a signal for whoever was up testifying to shut up, something like that. Some of it be like real obvious, and once again, like we can't play stupid. Just like the Diddy video that's going around now is viral. Like, okay, let's act like he was really talking to Justin Bieber. No, he's patting him down for a fucking wire. You know what I'm saying? But let's get back to the whole point. Justin sitting there with his arms doubled in front of his stomach like that, and leaning over and constantly shaking or whatever. Even for us, court of public opinion, being that we're watching this trial and we're watching this footage go out. Like it develops a image of him. It develops a thought and a decision. People looking at him just like, look at you. Like you look sick behind getting caught. You look sick behind the testimony and the evidence that you're watching getting presented in front of you in court, right? And I think that people don't even think about that type of stuff. And if you got to be sitting in that position, I've never sat there facing life. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you can't help it either way. But what does this show people? But that's a look at one of the shooters from day 3, y'all.
Don't go far.
I was asking about this area right here, is that correct?
Correct.
And you said that we found 2 types of casings in that area?
2 different types. We had 40 caliber casings, and we now take 7.62.
Zoteng TV, appreciate the super, says that's why Juk was taken out, so the case dies with him. Could have been friendly fire. Maybe Gotti saw this case coming. It's 2024. Let's be real. Now, if I'm understanding your comment correctly, you saying him taken out so the case dies with him. Well, who would benefit if the case died along with, rest in peace, Big Juk? The CMG side and Yo Gotti side. Those would be the people that would benefit from it, the case dying, right? There's nobody on Young Dolph's side that's involved in defending themselves in this trial, right? You got the shooters that was potentially or allegedly hired by Big Juk. You got Yo Gotti and you got Big Juk. Those are the pieces that's coming up as a defendants, all on the CMG side. So why would him being taken out be so that the case could die with him? Who would want to take him out then so that the case dies? The defense side, CMG? Are you saying a conspiracy that they were involved in that? I think that's far-fetched if that's the point that you're making here, homie. It's very, very far-fetched. It's very hard to convince me that Yo Gotti played any part in killing his brother because he knew that these charges was on the way and he was playing some like, you know what, let's just let him take all the blame. And also, if that is the point that you're making, I don't know if I'm interpreting this question or this comment incorrectly, but if that is the point that you're making, I don't think that would have been a smart thing to do. First of all, it doesn't. I don't believe that. Right? I think that's a reach. But even if somebody did reach for that, it wouldn't make sense to me because you would kill Big Juk, assuming that is all the evidence that could ever come out. No, like they don't be knowing if there's any phone calls or text messages that's made between Yo Gotti and somebody else that can become incriminating. That's why we went through what we was talking about earlier of like, it's not necessarily all haymakers that have to come to trial. You could just put a bunch of small pieces together, build a puzzle, paint a picture for the jury and say, apply common sense for us. Right. So, yeah, I think this one's a little reachy. It's a little reachy. And let's take it a step further. Who says that this is all dead after this trial? Who says? That's why I said Yo Gotti got to realize, like, if he wasn't brought into this particular trial right here, that could be a non-live, yes, but that stuff gets shelved. He has to walk around on thin ice. Like that gets like it could be literally sitting there. We gave the Wire example of, McNulty telling Stringer while he was arresting Avon, "We'll catch you later, though." We still got shit. We at you on our radar, but arrest wise and all of that, we'll hold off on you. We'll get to you later. We'll talk to you later. We'll talk to you in a year or two. Yo Gotti got to walk around like that. He better not think that it's all over now. No, that's not real life behind the scenes of the feds and state prosecution and law enforcement and these tactical teams that they be putting together to investigate your ass for 6 months and whatnot. That's not how it goes. They got a file cabinet. They got a board. They might put it in the corner for a second, but your ass is still sitting there in the yellow. Think you not and play around. All right.
Okay, 40 caliber is a handgun case and 7.62 is that assault rifle casing?
It is.
And this is the victim's car, is that right?
It is.
And this is where we walk in and out of the business.
The answer is
And this is a little side area.
it is.
And later we're going to see the victim lying in this little side area. Is that right?
That's correct.
The front of the store.
In front of the store with the address 2370 of Makita's Cookie Shop. You also have defects in the glass bullet holes in the glass of the door.
And we'll see this with a later.
The store is closed down now, right? Like if you're the owner of this store, like it's a wrap for you too, right? Unfortunately. I mean, first of all, you got the vibe of this is where it doesn't have to be a celebrity. It could be a murder, period. Right? You got that vibe of like, damn, like young Dolph was killed there, right? Then you got just the Memphis tension of depending on where you stand, what side, like that can become a target. It could get vandalized. It could get, like a fan. It doesn't even have to be somebody that's tied in with either side. It could just be a fan that walks by one day and just breaks the window, says, fuck you, store, because Makita's Cookies, because my favorite rapper died here. You know what I'm saying? It becomes, I think, even a danger to work there. If I own that store and this happened at my store, those doors never open again. Ever.
Sure, but let me go ahead and ask you about it. Do we find casings from inside the store where Dolph's brother was firing back from?
We did. Found 9mm.
Okay, and that's an entirely different type of handgun too, is that correct? So we have 9mm casings inside the store.
Inside.
We have 40 caliber casings outside the store, and we
Wow.
have 7.62 casings outside the store.
Wow.
And on a later picture, I'll ask you about one more set of them.
So it's open. It's open. They still doing regular business. I ain't trying to send no bad energy their way. I wouldn't / couldn't. At best, I would relocate. Not saying that it's just easy like that. Like sometimes you can't just pick up and move your business, or you don't know what type of situation the owners of this store are in, and it's not their fault. They didn't pick up a gun that morning. They were there running their cookie store. I couldn't do it, B. I couldn't do it. Salute B to K93.
Counter area of the store.
Front counter area, inside.
Oh, okay.
Business.
For perspective, the cashier's booth or whatever, where they register would be right around here, is that right?
It is.
Mr. Hagerman, if you can tell us what exhibit number you're using, please.
Going in order, this is 30. 31. That same outside area, is that right?
Same outside areas from a different angle. You see victims, front end of the victim's vehicle, Corvette. And you see the glass, some of the glass is broken out of the front windows with bullet holes.
Glass broken out here.
Yes.
And bullet holes throughout this glass, is that right?
It is.
This is the next number exhibit, 32. Closer in.
It's a closer picture of, like I said, the shattered glass, bullet holes, and you have markings on the ground with broken glass and shell casing of the 40 caliber 7.62 round.
And later on, when we see the victim's body, is it going to be in this area here?
It is, right in that area.
Okay. And when we see flower pot, like with his necklace and things like that, over this area?
Further to the left building, yes. This view is a view that's farther back from the entrance of the business of Makita's.
Interesting question. So Marie says, what's the point of having a bulletproof car if you're getting out the car in the hood? So, oh man, I could go in so many directions with this comment right here. Shout out to the chat. I mean, the most simple answer, of course, is you got to live, you got to move around, right? Nobody can live out of a car, right? Another answer is, unfortunately, a lot of rappers and a lot of people in gang-related situations and hits die in cars, right? Unfortunately, it looks like a horrible thing. I don't even want to get into that. It's scary, right? So you have that. Also, I didn't even see the footage until this week that Dolph's brother actually returned fire and hit the two suspects, one in the back and one in the leg. I didn't know that. So, to a degree, they were moving with protection and moving more defensive than many, right? That's why two of the two suspects even got hit, right? It's just unfortunate, man. It's just like, what do you really do when you got that level of hate or we need this person gone type of energy towards you, right? That's why the streets ain't for me. You know what I mean? Like imagine if you develop hate for somebody so much where it's like no matter what, you even if it takes you years, you need them off the earth. And I ask you, Maurice, would a bulletproof car be able to save that target? Possibly no, especially if you have resources, right? Eventually, something can happen, even if the mission doesn't get completed. But so, I mean, his bulletproof car was shot up 100 times before, right? And he survived that. It's a very scary thing to really try to break down, you know. So if you feel like you're being targeted, and obviously he's been shot at before, there's been attempts on his life before, then he is doing the right thing by having a bulletproof car. He is. But once again, you can't live out of your car. You have to get out of your car sooner or later. And, you know, there's always times when people are vulnerable. You know, Lil Baby got pulled over on the road for a ticket. He's telling the cops he didn't even want his window down. He was like, yo, man, can I get my ticket? Hurry up. I'm a celebrity. I need to get up out of here. You know, this is just a scary world that we live in. It drives a lot of people right into their homes. I saw a video yesterday. It actually was a little ignorant and annoyed me. Polo G, right? Polo G. I saw a video of him. He was at a gas station. He was bragging. He's like, yeah, you know, who do it like this? Who do it like me? You know, $500,000 in jewelry and pieces on my neck, on me, and all that. I'm out here pumping gas by myself. Where are we in life when we have to brag about how we pump gas safely? Now, you take me, and this is the type of energy that I put out to my followers, to my people, to Sorry It's True, our chat. This is the type of energy I put out. People, fuck all that being a tough guy. If that gas station is that dangerous, try to plan and moving away where you don't have to stop at that gas station. Like, I avoid, like, if let's say I'm partying in the city, right? I'm going to gas up in the suburbs before I get to the city, right? I don't want to have to be leaving the club 3:00 in the morning and my shit be on E and I got to stop at a gas station. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you plan out things in a way to try to stay away from certain areas and certain people at certain times and whatnot. And there's nothing wrong. That's the right thing to do. That doesn't make you a punk. I hated that clip, that little small video from Polo G yesterday. I hated that. The guy got fans. It doesn't make you cool or tough to say, here I am at the gas station wearing $500,000 of jewelry. You know, like, once again, I look at that reverse. Like, where are we, or where are you, or what are you doing in life that makes you feel that you need to promote that and show that you can pump gas? If anything, then I'm in a situation, maybe I don't need to be wearing $500,000 worth of jewelry, or maybe I'm at a bad gas station, or I'm in the wrong place, or maybe I shouldn't be by myself, or even if I am, I got all that going on. I'm not going to get on my damn cell phone to brag about it. You know what I'm saying? Because then you're showing your ignorance. You're showing that you actually, you know, lean into your environment or your surroundings being dangerous. And it's almost like you're saying, like, this is what I want to do and show you that I can survive it. That's corny. That's corny as shit. Like jewelry, for example, like these artists, they wear a lot of money in jewelry, diamonds and watches or whatever. Jay-Z, there's a reason why these days when you see him, if he's not in a suit, he's wearing like a t-shirt and some jeans or something like that. It's always his fucking wrist. Jay-Z wears some of the most limited, expensive watches that you will see out there in the world. That's all he does. Nice and neat and it's right here. Million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, one of three in the world. It's always right there. Everything else regular. And then you got the loud artists where it's like it's part of the image, it's part of the sell. You gotta look the part. And it's diamonds for days, it's chains for days, it's 5 flooded Cubans and all that. Look the part. I don't got no problem with it. I don't got no problem with it at all. I'm not hating on it. But you have to choose where and when to put your shit on. I linked up with Holla the other day. Fuck it. I'm in mode. I'll just be thinking and talking at the same. When I linked up with Holla, we was in an area that wasn't the greatest. Right. We linked up for like some business, like me and Holla. And I pulled up. Where was I going? I think I was running some errands, but I wasn't overdressed or nothing like that. I might have had something real small and light on. You know what I'm saying? Holla, he pulled up. He had like his chains on. He had his rings on. He had a flooded watch and everything. He was moving around. He had engagements. And once again, depending on the line of work that you're in, that sometimes is part of it. And then you got people that just enjoy wearing jewelry. Can't be mad at it. But I said to him, we were standing out in like a parking lot. And I said to him, I said, yo, you got a lot of jewelry on. I turned around. I turned my back to the building and put my face towards the street. I'm washing around or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then I said something else funny to Holla that I'm not going to say on live. And then he reacted to it in a way where he became just like me, defensive to our surroundings. I'm not even going to give those details. But point being, I'm conscious of that. I'm just like, yo, me and you are standing here, just some 2 regular guys in a parking lot or whatever, but you are overshining right now. You become an attraction as we're standing here, just talking and building and talking about business or whatever, you know what I'm saying, for 30, 20 minutes or whatever. I become conscious of that shit. I become a little paranoid at that shit. Like, I'm not standing here. We're not both standing here like this for an hour. I don't know how much all that shit is you got on. We're not doing that. Yeah, like, I don't got no ego. I'll say that right to, I don't give a fuck. If you with me, I say that to my boy Aaron all the time. Certain places that we go, he's got some expensive jewelry. And I tell him, like, there was a whole period where I was getting on him, like, I don't want to party with you if you're going to be wearing that shit. Like, I was getting at him like that for like a whole year. And then I let it go. I was just like, he's enjoying his success and his jewelry. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at him. You know what I mean? Like, I stopped like getting at him for it. But then I got to the point where I was just like, yo, can we make sure that the only places that we ever go, and niggas do that anyway, try to stay like nice restaurants, and even though it could go down anywhere, it doesn't matter where you're at. It could go down anywhere. But I just spin all of that conversation that I hope we build off of, you know, off of comments like this, you know, moving around in and out of these luxury cars, the amount of jewelry, how popular and famous you are, the beef that these people have. You know, people have differences in the world. I got differences with people. I don't want to see none of them gone. I don't want to see nobody. There's nobody in the world that I have differences with that I want to see dead. I put that on everything. Nobody. I don't want to see anybody that I have differences with dead. You go through life, you're going to have differences with people. You're going to have disagreements with people. That's part of life. 2 people are different personalities. They think different. They clash in business, whatever the case may be. That's a whole different ball game when Young Dolph and Yo Gotti start, you know, talking about each other's baby mamas and all of that. And that's a different ball game, right? Like, if somebody did that to me, if somebody got on camera and told me, you know, your best friend and I'm smoking on this pack and your parents and this and that and your girlfriend and all that, and I would interpret that as you have a higher level issue with me, and I would move accordingly. I would feel accordingly about that. You could tell me, I'm corny. You could say, you this, you that, whatever, cool. I don't care about none of that. I pay attention to it, but that don't make me feel like we're both on 10, right? The shit that Yo Gotti and Dolph says to each other, they know that they have a real beef. They know that. They know that. They both street niggas. They both know that. And chat, if nobody else would tell you, I'll say it a million times. There ain't nothing wrong with going through life avoiding that shit. There's a lot of dead tough guys. There's a lot of incarcerated tough guys. I'll tell you way before you got to sit in that cell, it ain't worth it. Because when you sit there and you realize my freedom is gone, it's one of the worst feelings ever. When you sit there, or when you stand in front of the judge and you have to like really brace yourself with your hands behind your back or your posturing, trying to keep your chin up and your chest out as much as possible, and you realize like, yo, this guy has like the fate of my future. Like, what the fuck? That feeling it's the worst. I'll tell y'all, man, you don't want to do that shit. That shit sucks. That's a whole nother topic I could spit into. See, the thing about the songs and everything is these artists, when they get into it, they believe or they feel that the outcome of their disputes and their music and all that is tied to their image and their success. And unfortunately, in hip hop, your image is directly tied to your success. For example, if you're a rapper and you get your chain snatched, we want to treat you like your career is over, right? It's fucked up. Polo G, the video I just talked about yesterday. Yeah, I'm in the hood right now, gas station, $500,000 with jewelry on. Yeah. The image is part of their success. It's part of validation of what they're rapping about and all that type of shit. So they bring a lot of danger towards them just based on the job that they're choosing, right? And then living up the image, whether they're really, really valid people or just doing it for the camera now. Whoever, some people are real, some people are fake. We all know that. We all know that shit. But those songs, like, they be encouraged and inspired and motivated and instigated by us, by the music industry, by the record labels, all of that. All, like, I don't pay my bills based on if y'all feel like somebody punked me or not. And I feel like egotistically, as well as success-wise, that puts me in a position, unfortunately, that some of these rappers don't have, where if somebody says, yo, ARP, you's a fucking lame, I don't feel like I need to crash out about it. Even if y'all instigate, and like, okay, nothing in my life. Okay, call me lame. Not a problem. You know what I mean? You do that to some of these rappers and their images is at the forefront of how they earn a living. They're going to want to crash. It's all part of the system of how a lot of these people end up in some of this shit. When they sit down and they sitting there and they realize, like, I know that shit wasn't worth it, but I feel like I had to. I feel like I had to. And then you got the aspect of the whole come one, come all. If I let this person punk me in music or diss me and get away with it, everybody else is going to make a diss song about me. It sucks to have to earn a living that is influenced by a million people that don't know you's opinion about you. People I just said, that's tough. That sucks. Your livelihood has a dependency on what a million or millions of strangers think about you. That's crazy. Oh, we went way off topic. This is the Sorry Is True podcast, y'all. Oof.
On that ground there, it's closer to the street of Airways. On the ground, you have evidence markers with shell casings there. And we found 2.26 rounds.
223 maybe?
2.3, I mean.
Okay.
I do.
So if we're gonna, I think now we've accounted for all the casings.
Yes.
So let's start from inside the store. There are 9mm casings from Dolph's brother. Is that right?
inside the business.
There are semi-automatic 7.62 casings from one of the shooters.
Correct.
There's 40 caliber casings from another of the shooters.
Correct.
And then there are these 223.
Notice he said there's 9mm casing. So the two shooters, the handgun was a 40 cal, the rifle was a 7.62. He said there's 9mm casings inside. We saw footage of Dolph's brother coming out the store and grabbing a hammer out the car and then shooting at the two shooters as they fled. The 9mm inside the store also shows that he was shooting while he was in the store too. His brother was going out for him.
3 casings, and is that a type of semi-automatic weapon?
Yes, it is.
From Dolph's brother as he runs out.
That's right.
That's exhibit number 1.
That's exhibit 33.
Thank you.
This is 34. What are these things?
That's inside of the business. You have a door, entry door.
Makes me think, like, I'm surprised that young Dolph's brother wasn't involved in this trial at all. He possibly was just there legally defending himself, right? But he wasn't brought in, huh? Or was he even? Sometimes you can't. I don't know. Were they able to find him? Or damn. Now I think about it, that would have been a big target for this case. Like, hey, you know, was you in the middle of this, and what did you see, and who did you see, and all that? Like,
Door into the bathroom. And leads to the hallway that leads to the bathroom. It has bullet holes and shattered glass on the door.
And perspective from inside the store, the register's over here.
Correct, it is.
We're about to see a picture of the victim's body, and it is going to be in the area of this little side area. Is that right?
I'm gonna skip that. Yeah, I'm cool. I'm cool on the body. This is what I think when I said earlier, if y'all thought I was joking when he said, "Oh, he's the same color boxers." I wasn't joking. Like, I was dead serious, yo.
Outside, is that right?
Yes. Came out up to the rear of the.
You're interested in this man?
Yes.
Sweatpants?
Sweatpants, black shoes, white soles on. Made into the car.
He's got bags or something
Yes.
now.
You see how his pants are sagging there a little bit. We have that was something that we looked at also.
In the homicide video, as he runs away, we can see his pants are sagging.
Yes.
Can we in fact see the color of his underwear in the homicide video?
Yes.
Is it also blue?
Yes.
Y'all thought I was joking.
He gets into it and shuts the door.
Now, is this Justin?
Like a yellow article of clothing or something now?
Yeah, it looks
He goes
like
to bass hat.
Yellow hoodie. He got
Is this apartment building here the one that Kiana Hopper lives in?
Yes, it is.
Mm.
In a video of the move.
Driver's door.
Like, really, all of this shit being put. Is that? Hold on. Where's the shooting footage again? Was that Justin? I want to make a point about that if that was Justin. Hold on. Young Dolph shooting footage. Okay, so all right, so yeah, the bass hat is I'm looking on a different screen, y'all. So Justin is watching himself unmasked and all that in these parking lots and whatnot as this evidence is getting. And this is why, once again, like when he gets up on that stand and he takes a position of like, you know what, nah, no testimony from me, I'm good, thanks but no thanks. Like, this is what he had to sit through and watch. He had to sit through and watch himself getting tracked from his crib in and out of these other cars, on the way, before, after. Like, what am I supposed to get up here and say to y'all? I mean, I'm just gonna bury myself even more. You know what I'm saying? Let me take this down. I see the comments in the chat about Yo Gotti. I hope not, y'all. I hope not. I mean, what you got? Angela, you got money, you got success, you got artists, you got CMG. It's just something that I don't know. Memphis, y'all know more than me about how they got to that level. I listened to interviews years ago. This ain't new to none of us. I listened to interviews years ago about, I remember Breakfast Club joints of, Young Dolph breaking down, and you offered me or you approached me and I didn't want to sign with him, this and that. And then Yo Gotti showed some text messages and whatnot, and he has a different account. Then you got the songs and all that. It's, jealousy is definitely a disgusting thing. Like, even on the battle rap side, right? When people continue to mention my retirement and why, did he see the writing on the walls for bootleg? Did he see the market all messed up? Is it because YouTube is demonetizing battle rap at a rapid rate? Was he tired of it? Was it just about him hitting his 10-year anniversary? Now it's his goal his whole time. Did he get fed up? It's like all of the above. It's like 20 different things. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just one thing. Jealousy is absolutely something that I endured. Right? There's people that I used to talk to, and I'm very, very keen on vibe and what people say and do, especially when I catch them on lives on video and whatnot, and I see the contradictions. It's just like, oh, you're even making up stuff, or you're even changing your story, right? You got to be conscious of the people that you get around that'd be like, yo, I want you to do good, but what they really mean is, I don't want you to do better than me. And sometimes they don't even know that they feel that way until you rise up, right? It could happen to people that's even right next to you. It could happen from your best friends. It can happen from family members. It can happen from associates. It can happen from business partners, right? What if it's your idea, but they come to me for it? What if you started it, but I did it? I do it better. What if the girl that you like wants me? What if I carry attributes that you envisioned for yourself, but you just don't have? Well, it's life, man. That's why sometimes it'd be better to just get from around a lot of people. And that's why people will tell you, keep a tight circle, keep a small circle. Don't try to befriend a million people, because there's jealousies and differences and all types of things bred in there. You know what I'm saying? Especially if y'all not all A-likes, right? especially if you're not all A-likes. I posted that on my Instagram too. That Jay-Z quote. It's like, when you speak to people about the issues about me, it's always what I didn't do for them. You know, so you even got people that'll literally beef with you or have a problem with you because you didn't give them more or you didn't do more for them. Who were you and what were you before we met? Like, you know how old I was when I met you and how old you was when you met me? How many weddings have I been to for you? How many birthdays have we celebrated together? What's my family members' names and all that? Like, what? Like, and people will put responsibility on you, and then they'll hate you or even take issue with you for their success failures. It's just all these different reasons that breed jealousy, and it's inescapable. I'll say this before I get out of here. I said this with my close ones over the years for a very, very long time. I believe that every human being carries a level of jealousy. Every human being, because I see the emotional tie to it. If you grow up in just a general regular society, there's things that gets molded into your character and your personality of want, needs, likes, dislikes. You see things, other people, and this is what all gets put into your personality as you grow as a person. So when I say every human being has that emotion of jealousy, I think the bottom level, trigger of jealousy is just wanting something that you can't have. That's like the very simplistic layer of it. Now, when I say every human being carries jealousy, the difference is it's what level do you express it, or what level does it actually affect you? That's the difference. If you put jealousy on a scale from 1 to 10, let's say jealousy at a 1 is just invoking a feeling. Oh, damn, I want that too. That don't mean that you don't want the other person to have it or nothing like that. It's just you see somebody with it, it's just like, oh, well, I want that. That's like a 1 out of 10. Nothing wrong with that. Let's say like a 4. Jealousy can be transformed into motivation. I would like to think that that's the type of jealousy that I walk around with. You know what I'm saying? I even rag and joke on my friends about that. You know what I'm saying? When my boy pull up like this, Bentley or something, oh, you looking clean. I bet next year I'm gonna pass that. It's not that I don't want you to have it. It's not that I want to do better than you. It's not that I have a problem with you, going crazy this year. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at you. I'm saying, oh, wait, I need to be doing more. You and I are A-likes. You and I got the same 24 hours in a day. You just inspired me. I'm motivated now. Right? And all the way on the other side of the spectrum, jealousy at a 10 is hate. It's hate. That's where it's just like, I don't want you to have it. I'm mad that you have it. I'm mad that you're better than me. I'm mad that you get more recognition than me. I'm mad that you're ranked higher than me. I'm mad that you have it and I don't. I'm mad that the hate. And because it's tied to human emotion, it's inescapable. For years and years and years and years and years, we're all out here complaining about haters. We're all out. People rap about it. People talk about it. People complain about it. Right? There is no fix to it. It is a weak ass human trait. It's a disgusting trait that people carry, but it's unavoidable. There's no fix for this shit. The only fix for it is to get away from it. That's the only thing you can do. If you identify it in somebody, you just have to get away from it. Calling people out for being haters and try to prove that somebody's a hater doesn't work. It's part of this world. And it just is what it is. My mere thoughts. Envy may be worse. It's the fact that they don't want to see you specifically with more. Never mind a stranger. Yeah. So that breakdown that I just gave, of like the spectrum of 1 through 10, all those different levels are in there, and it's not just a stranger. It's like, I definitely agree with you. It can be somebody right next to you. It could be somebody you thought was a homie, somebody you thought was cool. Like, I got people that I could break down from battle rap. Like, I literally chronicled and watched their transition of their energy. And if I broke it all down and edited it and laid it out, it would be like, oh, it's a fucking hater. And I just remove myself. I don't want to argue with you. I don't want beef with you. I don't want to talk about you. I don't want you to talk about me. I don't want to befriend you. I don't want to be an associate with you. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing. I just want to go all the way over here. That's all. That's the only fix when you get hated on or when somebody's envious of you. That's the only real fix, to just get away from it. You stay close to it, it's going to corrupt you in somehow. It's going to hurt you somehow. There's no real fix when people are haters. There's no real fix for it. And the people that have those hates or that type of hatred or those type of emotions, you don't even know if they've actually achieved their goals, if that emotion would be turned off. Because there's all these little key elements to it. Right? All right. Listen, you hated on me because I drive a Honda and you drive a Kia. Now you have a Honda too. Are you still mad at me? Like, you want to prove that out? No, like, you never know. It could be like, oh, but you had it first, or, you know, yours is red and mine's like, it's all this little shit. Once you have that gene in you and that's part of your personality, and you can turn that on to be a hater towards somebody or envious towards somebody, it doesn't matter, because the variables will change. Jay-Z said, you'll really see somebody when y'all both got money. Remember that? What does he mean by that? He said the dependencies. You have money, they don't have money. They're going to put their best foot forward. They're going to show you their teeth. They're going to be nice towards you because there's a dependency. You know what I'm saying? Like, would Tony Yayo really be that? Would he big up 50 Cent every sentence that comes out of his mouth if there wasn't a dependency still? I don't know. I actually like Tony Yayo. I think that I like his loyalty to 50. But one thing that I can see is the dependency, because he overdoes it. Are y'all with me? He overdoes it. It's like, dude, Vlad asked you about the favorite country that you visited. And you're like, yeah, because, oh, it's really Amsterdam now, because when 50 had me over, it's like, nigga, I didn't fucking ask you about 50. You know what I'm saying? And then back to the Jay-Z classic comment to me. It's true. It's like, now there's no dependency. You're a billionaire and I'm a billionaire. How do you act? Y'all both got some money. Now I can see the real you. Now you can show me. Y'all all do it. How do you act one way around your managers? And some of y'all let y'all boss piss you off to the point when you walk through the door, when you get home from work, you go off and you rant and you rave and you vent to your spouse. You walk through the door, you be like, yo, you know what my fucking manager did today? But we can't say none of that shit to him. You ain't show him none of that energy. But let your spouse at home get on your nerves. You're gonna flip the fuck out. You control yourself because you're earning $1. It's tied to your job. You contain yourself, right? Once again, now if I'm the boss too, then I show you my real personality. It's all the same type of, from Jay-Z's quote. I 100% live by it and believe it. You know, but folks, I'm glad that today on this stream, not only did my man, I appreciate you, my mere thoughts. Thank you. I appreciate you. I'm glad. That's actually how I was going to close out. I was going to close out by saying I'm going to leave your comment out here as the stream closes too. Because I really appreciate you, my mere thoughts. And shout out to the members. I want to close out by saying I'm glad that even though I cut the stream on to talk about the Young Dolph trial day 3 updates and everything, I like that we organically get into these pockets of beef and what's worth it and what's not. And y'all get to see me more as a person, what I stand for, who I am, the type of person that I want to be. We get to share jewels. I get to learn from y'all. Y'all get to learn from me. I think that's so dope. And I want to continue that. So I'm never gonna look at it like, damn, ARP, you going off a topic. Instead, what I want is I want the people that are on the Sorry Is True podcast to realize, like, no, this is what we all come here for. We may sit here and just talk about Offset and Cardi B for 10 minutes. I seen that, y'all. We may just do that. We may just keep it fucking messy and just get up in the news headline and talk about, all right, Offset and Cardi B. What she say on that line? What they ratchet ass going through now? But when we veer off and we build, I want us to build and understand, like, no, that's what we do on the Sorry It's True podcast. That's what we do. You know what I'm saying? And he said Diddy's next. Likewise, y'all have a good day too. Oh, there, hold on. I missed I said I was closing out with Mama Thoughts, right? Let me keep my word. Yeah, y'all have a good day, man. I appreciate y'all.